Watchers, welcome to Perth Watch, your horology channel broadcasting from right here in Perth, Western Australia. Today I have another piece from a local supporter and friend Graham. It is a piece from Magrette Watches, a company based in New Zealand. Now they're not brand new, they've been around for a number of years now. What I particularly like on looking at them is that the company descriptors on the website are kind of no nonsense. It's a founder, Dion, who had a passion in watches, so he had a dream of creating his own company. The company aim was to create watches which are both good tool watches as well as works of art, and they aim to create limited runs so that the quality and the attention to detail can be there. The name itself, Magrette, was a little bit of a serendipitous discovery in that it was a name that Dion felt evoked the sense of old world strength as well as allure, and I think it's fair enough. I think the name does kind of have a bit of a mysterious feel about it. So today's watch comes in this rather substantial nice leather case. So guys, without further ado, let's flip the camera around and take a look at what's in here. Alright guys, so here we have the case on the table. This is kind of a leather. I think it's faux leather, but that's my feeling of this material. There's a bit of embossment with the logo and the brand name there. Okay, so how does it spin? Actually, for leather, it's actually not bad. That's about a 4 out of 5, I reckon. All right, so let's just open it up and show you guys what's in here. So, founder of the company has got a card there, and just want to show you the strap case, which kind of fits on the top there, which is kind of neat actually, I think. But none of these, I think, are super suitable for the watch, or at least not as suitable as the strap that I've got it on. Okay, so this is a black rubber with a deployant clasp there. All right, put that aside. And then next we got the NATO, blue NATO, which is, I think, what this model really kind of originally comes with. I don't think this quality is the most fantastic, not the most fantastic NATO I've ever seen, kind of more Zulu style. So I've chosen not to actually wear this on the watch. In fact, I probably wouldn't if this was my watch. And then lastly, this leather, which is probably the least suitable of all the choices here. Okay, so under here, we have a separation flap, and then the watch itself, which is on this blue rubber, which I think is really the most suitable one for the watch. So guys, here we go. This is the Magrette or Magrette Moana Pacific Professional Titanium in blue. So this previously, I think, started as the Moana Pacific Kara model, which is kind of New Zealand flag colors, and they've retained the colors, but instead of giving the original rubber as the default, they changed it to the NATO because it was supposed to be more of a functional tool diver, and instead of a display case back, which the Kara model came with, it comes with a solid case back, again more as a full-blooded tool function. And as always, they tend to do limited edition, so you can see right there it is a limited edition of 500 models. This is what this run is for. Okay, so before I move on to the next step, just to mention the MSRP of this watch is $755 USD. I'm not really sure if they typically go on sale. I imagine there will be intermittent sales. Let me know if you know better than me whether Magrette goes on sale from time to time. All right, so first up, as I usually like to do, let's talk about the movement. So in here, it is the Swiss movement. It is the SW200-1. Most of you will probably be quite familiar with it, and you don't need me to tell you what the stats are, but it is there on the left of screen. So this movement, of course, doesn't normally have a date. In this case, this watch is a no date, so it has a ghost position, unfortunately. Some people really don't like that. I don't mind it, it's what it is. But just so you know, there is a ghost position on this watch on the crown. Rated accuracy, as you can see on the left of screen, the actual use accuracy is pretty darn good, I have to say. It's running about +3 seconds per day for me. Okay, so that's the movement. Let's talk about the case here, which you can see as I've panned it around, is completely brushed. It is a 44mm diameter grade 5 titanium case, right? 15.5mm in full thickness there, with 24mm lug width, and a lug-to-lug distance between my thumbs that is very substantial, 53.5mm. So it is a bit of a chunker here on the lug-to-lug distance. Overall weight, because it's on rubber and it's a grade 5 titanium case, it's not as heavy as it looks. It is 136 grams. Substantial, but not uncomfortably so, I would say. Right, moving on to finishing here. So this is a fully brushed case, as I mentioned, right? It's got circular brushing on the top of the case there, longitudinal on the lugs there, and it's also got circular brushing, both on the bottom surface of the lugs as well as the case back. And then on the side, you can see it is a longitudinal or horizontal brushing, on the sides there. So pretty nicely done, but there is no polish surface. It is hard to get titanium to get to a polished surface, and I don't mind that they've actually gone for brush for what is ostensibly a full-blooded tool diver. I think brushing is fine. The middle of the case back where the logo is and the name is appears to be a nice kind of sandblast effect is what they've gone for there. So you can see that solid case back is of course nicely screwed in, and then of course that crown is going to be screwed in as well with that logo there. Okay, solid screw-in crown, very substantial feeling. They've gone for a full 500 meters of water-resistant rating there. So there's no doubt this is very much a very solid functional diver. It is not, kind of half-hearted by any means. Okay, let's talk about the dial now. So the dial here is a matte blue. It's kind of New Zealand flag blue or Australian flag blue, whatever you want to call it. Printed white and red details, right? Again, all these colors are found in the New Zealand flag. This is where the inspiration comes from. It does have a chapter ring, in the periphery, but outside that there is a secondary ring or a peripheral ring, which is, I don't know what that really is. It's a timing ring. It's got 10, 30 and 35-minute marks there with some more splash of color. Not really entirely sure what that's about, and if you know better, I'd really like to hear what your thoughts are on that ring there. The hands are brushed baton style hands. It's got a red colored stick seconds. I like that splash of color on the seconds hand with that lume pip that it has as well. The lume is BGW9 Super Luminova, and it's on all the usual spots, as well as the full bezel being loomed fairly nicely. And of course, I'll put a lume shot right here for you guys to appreciate how it glows in the dark. All right, surrounding the dial is a 120 click unidirectional dive style bezel with a matte ceramic insert, and that ceramic insert, I think it's very nicely done in terms of the high contrast between the dark blue and the white. Let's just listen to it now. 5, 5, 5. Okay, 20. So 120 clicks, very solid, no backplay, very chunky, very solid. I really like the way that they've done this bezel. It's got its own feel. It doesn't feel like, like other Swiss watches I have. It's just got a very chunky, solid feel, and I do like the feel of this bezel, I must say. And on top of that is a slightly domed sapphire crystal, fairly nice, with anti-reflective coating on the internal surface there. Okay, so talking about the strap now, I know I showed you all the others, which I don't think are as good. I think this is the most suitable one to match this watch, which is blue FKM rubber, and it's integrated into the case. So you can see how, yes, you can remove it with the, the spring bars there, but the way it sits, it actually is designed just for this case, and that's pretty cool. It's got the logo and the name Magrette there, okay, and then, nicely textured, right? And that's how it looks like with a keeper, and then of course a steel buckle, which is actually brushed. I think this is steel. They haven't really said so, I think, but I imagine this is actually a brushed steel with a polished finish on the logo there rather than titanium. I think it's hard to do that. All right, so that's the entire description of the watch. Let's just put on the wrist for a wrist shot for you guys now. And there you go, guys. The Magrette Moana Pacific Professional Titanium in blue on my 17cm wrist, and remember 15.5mm thickness, big lug of 53.5. It really, I think, is pushing the limits on my wrist, and really is kind of too large, and not something I would wear with a shirt and collar properly. Maybe in casual situations it's all right, but there you have it, and that's how it looks like on this blue rubber. Okay, so guys, that's the wrist shot for you guys. What have I enjoyed about this watch? What I appreciate is it really is a no-nonsense diver, rock solid quality, right? Construction with that grade 5 titanium, quality materials, your sapphire and ceramic, of course, and then you're getting that Swiss heart in the middle, the Swiss Sellita. I think it's got a unique original design. It really isn't copying anyone directly. Yes, you've seen elements before, but nothing is quite 100% like this, and I appreciate that. The cushion case, despite the fact that it's 44mm, it actually sits quite comfortably. Despite the large size, and titanium I think adds to that because it's light, it actually sits quite comfortably. And the dial, I think it really is ultra legible, very, very legible dial. And a great bezel. I've mentioned that already. Great bezel action, very solid there, and I appreciate that. What are the concerns I have about this watch? Well, look, I think the things I don't like, or some people may not like, the timing ring, I think it's a bit superfluous, right? It's a bit gimmicky. I'm really not sure why it's there. I think the dial could have been cleaned up a bit without that. Maybe some people would like that extra design, but I really probably prefer if they didn't do that. But let me know if you know really what the function of that is. I think the NATO strap that I showed you before, the quality of that is lacking. And then overall, no doubt this is a large and chunky watch. And because it's large and chunky, it is going to preclude wider appeal. Not everybody will like a 44mm chunker on their wrist, and certainly I wouldn't suggest that you use it for formal occasions. It is just not suitable at all for that. Okay guys, so that's my thoughts on this watch. Let's just flip the camera around now for the wrap up. So there you go guys, my review of the Magrette Moana Pacific Titanium Professional in blue color. Let me know what you think about this watch. I think there are certainly a lot of strengths. I think there are design points which I really like about this, but of course, no watch is perfect. There are certain bits that I think are of concern. So let me know what your particular view on this is, and especially if you own any pieces from Magrette, would certainly love to hear your thoughts. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. New content every week, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you guys again next time.